Hello, everyone, and welcome to Star Trek The Alternate Generation, a Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition game using the rules by Modiphius Entertainment. My name is Elias, the Game Master. Wait, no, I'm not the Game Master in this one. I'm the Captain in this one. The Game Master is Ravenslore, who I'm going to turn it over after I tell you that I'm playing Captain Hamasi tonight. And I have nothing to shout out other than the usual... You're on my channel. You know why you're here. Go look at videos. The end. But Ravens, it's now your show.
Hey guys, I'm Ravens or Tony, whichever you prefer. I don't think I have anything to shout out, but I am excited about the season finale of our little alternate universe Star Trek game. This should be some good fun.
All right, Arwen, what do you got going on?
Oh, hey everyone, I'm Arwen. I am playing Counselor Fahil, and I have nothing to shout out.
All right, Caspian.
I'm Caspian. I'm playing the tactical officer Zathan, and I have nothing to shout out either.
And last but not least, Tigdam.
Hello, Tiger Maya, and I'm playing Sekani Hominid, the horse. And yeah, I've not got anything too specific to shout out, so let's go.
All right, let's run the intro video and then we'll get started. And we're back.
All right, let's get this show on the road. And to answer your question, if you miss with a ramming attack, you actually don't collide with something. Interestingly enough. All righty, so welcome to session 4 of Star Trek Reimagined. Last session, let's see, what's our recap from last session? Last session, you were engaged by a couple of pirates, which your security officer and the rest of you took down relatively easy, surprisingly easy, actually. I was impressed that the combo of the crew, especially Satan, being able to act multiple times in a round, how you eviscerated those Orion pirates. It was great to see. But you did learn a couple things. The biggest thing that you learned was the existence of the Locutus protocols. Now, the Locutus protocols, as you came to learn, seem to be some sort of amalgamation of the previous crew. Their memories, perhaps their consciousnesses, have been kind of assimilated. It's a scary word with a Borg Cube in play, but assimilated into the Enterprise itself. You don't know how that happened. You haven't investigated that yet. But mechanically, what it does, it triggers the ghost ship trait for the Enterprise D. For the audience, the ghost ship trait allows, when you obtain information, you get to ask another question. It gives you an extra bit of information. And narratively, how that's going to work is that the ship itself is going to assist you in what you're trying to do, right? So if you're doing a scan and you're obtaining information, you can narrate that, or we can narrate that the ship itself adjust scanning parameters to give you more information that you normally get, or it would bring up records on your data pad or on your console in front of you without you asking. It would just pop up, and you'd be like, "Oh shit, what's this thing? Here's a record I never thought to look at, or I couldn't find before." So feel free to play that up. That like it's a core aspect of the Enterprise is that when you designed it during our session 0 to have this ghost ship, and this is the way we've implemented it, which I think it should be fun. So to be clear, you can't talk to Picard, you can't talk to Data, you can't talk to LaForge. The ghost ship is like everybody in this weird collective that, like their memories and maybe their consciousness, you don't know. They exist in the ship in such an amalgamated way that it's not an individual, and it's by no means organized in any kind of fashion. It's chaotic, but you'll learn, or you get the sense that AI program, for lack of a better term, is trying to help. It's actively assisting as opposed to working against you. But yeah, so you fought off the Orion pirates. You learned about this Locutus protocol, and you opted to start making your way, if I remember correctly, towards the system that houses that barren planet and the Borg Cube. So I guess, in typical Star Trek fashion, we will start off. I assume you guys are on the bridge. Things are pretty heightened, tensions are pretty high. But we'll pass over to you guys for a discussion, social scene, and we'll go from there.
So, where I last remember, we were looking to try and find LaForge Borgified, if I remember correctly.
LaForge was an option mentioned, yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. I think it was either Data or LaForge that we wanted to get. Maybe both, maybe one.
I want to throw in a third option, too.
Sure.
I'd like to throw in Troy as an option.
Okay.
The reasoning would be that Troy, more than any of the crew, would be able to give us insights on Larson.
Oh yeah, that is true. Well, I guess it's a matter of what our sensors can detect within the Borg Cube. If we're just detecting tens of thousands of life forms and we got to sit there and scan for a while, that could take some time, obviously.
You did previously determine the location of the Enterprise crew. That was something that you...
oh, yeah, we got that trait for it. I
accomplished.
forgot.
Yeah. And you also loaded up your photon torpedoes, one of your tubes with trilithium, in case you wanted to blow the sun up.
Yep, I remember now. It's been a week, everybody.
That's why we write them down, or I would have forgot too.
Right. So I think Captain Hamasi is just going to be staring at the Borg Cube or the planet or whatever's on the view screen as we get closer, and is simply going to say, well, we have a difficult decision in front of us, people. We obviously want to try and rescue as much as the Enterprise D's crew as possible. We also want to at least experiment and try to rescue one to start, just so that we can verify that we're not actually destroying anyone's personality in the process. However, we are a bit of a ticking time clock here, where if that thing wakes up and we can't contain it, then we only have the nuclear option available to us, where we cannot allow that technology to exist outside of that thing, that cube.
So what I'll say is that you're a couple hours away from arriving at the system. You're traveling at warp. You're on your way. Your ship's back together now. And I want to remind you that because you have access to the protocols, you have access to information potentially that you could look into as you're making this trip. Remember, You guys know what Borg are, but your characters do not. They've never been encountered before.
Right.
But yes, safe to say, nuclear options probably on the table, and you must contain it because it's a skill 13 vessel at the very least, right?
Well, one of the things I was trying to angle towards there is I want to kind of just do a rally just so we can have some momentum. Now, I know we start with 1 because of Sarkeni, but I think a difficulty 0 presence command could help us get more momentum, so.
You can absolutely rally.
All right, well, let's just see what happens in before multiple complications. No, that's 2 successes, so I believe we're at 3 momentum overall.
Perfect.
Though I don't think the momentum tracker's updating for me.
I can't do it either.
Yeah, my foundry's acting up already.
Can anyone upgrade the momentum?
Nope.
I'm refreshing on it.
Oh, I know why. Turn you have the game paused. That's why. Gotta unpause the game.
I will as soon as I can refresh.
I forget, because the GM can modify it whenever, but if the game's paused, then only the GM can do it.
Oh, come on, Forge. You're good.
But yeah, I'll just keep track of 3 momentum. So I think I'm going to look over at Dr. Fahil and I go, all right, Doctor, we know where the Enterprise crew is in that thing. I need you to make a judgment call here. I'm going to rely on your expertise. What do you judge is the most important thing to have at this moment? Expertise about the technology, expertise about our friend Dick, or expertise about potentially reversing whatever happened to the crew?
I think, considering that Mr. Larson somehow has access to this technology and knowledge of it, that we should have more insights into him so that we can prevent him from spreading that technology.
All right.
I think stopping him. I'm sorry. I'm not, Captain. Honestly, full disclosure here. I'm not being completely rational right now. I'm nervous about my friend and my colleague, Deanna Troy. The rest of the crew, of course, but Deanna, I've worked with her, and just the thought that she has been lobotomized basically along with the rest of the crew and has no personality and is just it's too much. I'm having trouble focusing.
Hmm.
The robot raises its arm and says, Captain, while the Doctor may have a point about gaining access to potentially Troy, I believe gaining access to the technology would be more important. We need to understand this thing if we're going to counteract it. If we're going to save somebody, we need to know how how the technology interacts. And if we're going to potentially defeat Dick or potentially deal with these new life forms, we also need to understand the technology. I do believe the Forge is the best option.
But if we
There's a-
have, go ahead, Zathan.
There's a third option. Dick does appear to have been released from these Borg. If we could capture him, we would have something to understand the technology, and he's been aboard this vessel. So he maybe have ways to move about undetected. If we could disable his ship and capture him, he could go a long ways towards helping us understand what we're dealing with here.
Well, the
He
issue
could
is
have also-
capturing him, really, because as we saw last time, he can simply beam in and out of places with shielding.
If he could beam over to us and then we activate our countermeasures, perhaps it would trap him inside. Although I don't remember if somebody said that was not possible.
Also,
We have
something
the
to
ways-
consider.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Thank you, Commander. Also, we should consider that we have this so-called Locutus protocol that may have that information that Sarkani Hamanad so correctly pointed out that we need the technology information too, but we may already have it within this protocol.
Counselor, can you access that protocol directly?
Let's see. I'll sit myself down at a console and pull up the application.
Because if the Enterprise's crew is inside of it, perhaps we can find Dick's original personality, memories.
I like where you're going with that. Let's have a look. My fingers will dance over the keyboard, and I'll try to construct an algorithm to search for that.
Alrighty. So let's call this control and engineering.
Oh, okay.
Can I assist by doing the Riker maneuver and just looming behind the doctor and being like, no, you want that file?
Yeah, CO can always direct, right? So
I don't mean like a direct. I mean like literally just a presence engineering is I'm like, no, that file there. No, that file there. It's like
Sure.
paired programming.
the Enterprise will help with computers engineering, I guess.
Well, that might be better if the Enterprise assists, because if I assist, we got to spend a momentum for me to assist.
Want me to roll the Enterprise?
Yes, please.
And I have an argument for to use psychiatry as a focus here, or forensic psychology. Just like the Lower Decks episode where several of the hybridized crew members were beamed together into one big ball of meat. And Tendi used her knowledge of the personality traits of the individuals within that to isolate them, to separate them from the meatball. I would like to do something similar using my knowledge of the psychological profile I've set up on Larson so far to enhance my algorithm.
Yeah,
Is that,
sure,
a,
I like
is
it.
that a yay or an A?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I had to ponder that for a second, but no, that makes some sense.
Yeah, I had to get you there. I'm sorry. it took a little bit of explanation. If you hadn't seen the Lower Decks episode, it would probably be a little more complicated.
I have not, but
Okay, well, yeah.
you are distinctly dealing with personalities.
Basically, what Arwen's saying is they 2-vixed a lot of people together, and they had to un-2-vix them. So,
which is the only way. You must always un-2-vix.
No. When that game comes out in Voyager, that's the first damn thing I'm doing is saving 2-vix.
Oh, I'm gonna murder the bastard.
What is the difficulty for this?
Difficulty for this is going to be 3.
All right, well, then I would like to spend a momentum.
What is the ship rolling, please?
Ship is rolling computers engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 successes. Yikes. Only because I rolled a 1.
Oof.
I mean, it was difficulty 3, so we have the option of succeeding with a complication.
I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So I'll give you the success. What is the specifically? What is it that you're looking for?
Oh, well, we're looking for information. We're just looking to access the memories and consciousness of Larson.
Okay. So with the successful roll, and the complication, I'll explain it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
You do have access to this system. Meaning, instead of difficulty 3, it'll be difficulty 2 when you're doing research, accessing these different personas that are in here, these fractured minds, these different consciousness. The complication that I'm going to instill is I'm going to increase the threat by 2, as you come to the understanding that the consciousness of these people, the quote, not really soul, but quote unquote soul or individuality of these individuals are in this ship. It is not a program. So the stakes are higher.
Right.
But
Well,
I guess the question is Larson's memory still a part of that collective whole, or is Larson fully segregated? Like, is there something of Larson in the Locutus protocol?
There is something of everybody in the Locutus protocol. As far as you can tell, all of them have been, well, they're jumbled together. Their essence has been digitized and uploaded into the Enterprise in some crazy technological fashion.
Okay.
So yes, you can ask questions, obtain information to individual crew members. It's just hard to do.
This might be tricky, Captain, but I believe I have isolated Larson's subroutines.
All right. Well, I think first thing we need to determine is if that's really Larson we're dealing with out there, and I motion vaguely at the view screen, or if the real Larson's in there and whatever that cube did to him is the thing that needs to be destroyed, if you get my meaning.
I do. Well, I can run a comparison on what I already know about Larson with what's in here. Maybe that'll give you an answer. I'd also like to know his service record and what his position was on the Enterprise, as well as his personal logs.
I assume you're talking about Logan, not Larson.
Oh, yeah. Why do I keep saying Larson? I'm sorry,
I
Logan.
don't know.
Yeah.
I was confused for a bit. I thought you were
Yeah,
talking
sorry
about a
about
crew
that.
member I should know about.
It's been a week.
Oh, so in this case, Logan is not in this system.
Oh, that
Logan does
changes
not
things
exist in here.
then.
Yeah, Logan is not part of Locutus.
So then I guess, wind back time and redo that scene. I think Hamasi looks at that and goes, well, that tells me that he escaped somehow, and if it's possible for him to escape, then I think we have a means to save all of the Enterprise D crew. Unfortunately, though, it does mean that we can't ask him about himself, which is not exactly good, but also not exactly bad.
So look, I would be curious to see if Troy's information's in here too, because she would know about Logan.
Yeah,
She
I'll
might
say
know
that
about
that
Logan.
that roll that you made was sufficient to access the protocols.
Okay. Then let's try to get some information on Logan based on what Troy knew about him.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
All right, so we're certainly into engineering now. So it'd be control engineering for whoever wants to do it. Enterprise will assist, of course.
I'm going to motion to Sarkeni, and I'm going to kneel down a little bit so that I am eye level with his optical sensors.
The robot waves.
What's that?
I just said the robot waves.
Oh, Commander, I can access the psychological, but I'm afraid this is outside of my wheelhouse, the technological. Could you take a lead on doing the search for me, and I will assist as needed?
Yes. Yes,
I'm so glad to have you here.
And he crawls over, and so it's control engineering?
Control engineering, excuse me, assisted by computers engineering from the ship.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulties 2, since you've gotten access to the system.
Okay.
Someone want to roll for the ship?
Right. I do have a talent, procedural compliance, You may remove 1d20 from your dice pool before rolling. If you do so, you gain an automatic success on your task. But you basically, I roll one dice has already succeeded. It's not critted, it just succeeded.
Yep.
And
So instead of rolling 2, you just roll 1 and we'll add 1 success to it.
yeah. Just seeing if I've got anything else to help me. I'll take momentum. If everyone's all right with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Okay, so that's 3 because the first die would have already rolled a 1.
Been the success, yep. And then assist from the ship.
Who's got the ship? Or do you want me to roll that?
You might as well, because if I try to roll the ship, it's going to mess with the layout.
Was it computers engineering again?
Yeah.
Okay. Go. Somebody else can take the
Ship's
ship.
not helping. Enterprise is being stubborn. It's confused. You're accessing too many memories for it. But with 3 successes, you get access to Troy and a bonus momentum.
Yep.
So you have access. You can spend momentum to ask questions.
Yes. What was her overall impression of Logan? And what was his position on the ship?
Her overall impression of Logan was that he was very guarded. He was very secretive, and she sensed. She would have sensed. She would. I'm trying to figure out the right way to say it. A simmering hostility. He was an angry person. Not enough for her to like Starfleet to flag it, but some people are just mad, right? His
Right.
position on the ship is he was an intelligence officer.
I'll motion over to Zathan. You might be interested in this, Commander.
I scroll through his history and go, very interesting.
Maybe that explains how he was able to purge his records.
Yeah, the limited records that you can pull from your obtained information here, because you're pulling it from like a fragment of Troy, right? If you could read it, like if it came out as a report, it would be dates redacted, dates, redacted, served on, redacted, like one of those service reports that you're like, oh, this is real helpful, thanks.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to remember what my Studious allows me to like ask an additional question when a momentum is spent to ask questions. I don't know if we did that though. We did spend a momentum to do this, right?
You should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got 1 momentum from your roll to ask the
Okay.
question. Yeah.
All right. So I get an additional 1 then. What was his like the day of the Borg attack or the day that they encountered the Borg? What is the last bit of information on Logan?
What would Troy know about that?
I mean, she's on the bridge. If he did a double deal on them or betrayed them or something, I assume, she would have overheard that.
Logan was supposed to be here, and by here, part of the protocols. The protocols were done deliberately as a way to protect the crew from the inevitable assimilation from the Borg. So she expected him to be here.
So are you suggesting that the crew somehow uploaded their consciousness on their own into this Locutus protocol?
Would you like to ask another question?
I will float that possibility with the captain and see what she has to say.
Well, based on everything you've just told me and what I'm seeing on my own screen, I think that you're on the right track here, Mr. Fahil, Dr. Fahil. I believe that, and it's an interesting scenario, we're looking at Logan being assimilated or transformed, or whatever word we want to use. Logan was not a part of this upload, therefore he was given the full brunt of whatever that cube did, which either means that he is being manipulated by the cube at the very moment, or he found his own way to break free. Neither of those is a really good option, but unfortunately the only one who has the answer to that is Logan himself. But it does raise an interesting way that we can perhaps fix the Enterprise crew. If we can fix their bodies once we reacquire them, then we can de-digitize their minds and personalities and memories back into their bodies.
Yeah, possibly. And if I recall my study of the previous crew of the Enterprise, they had an android crew member who contained the memories of his colony on Omicron Theta.
You're referring to Data, right?
Yes, I wonder if he was responsible or involved in uploading the memories and consciousness of the crew.
I mean, it would make sense. There is precedent in his service history. Run a level 2 diagnostic and see if we have anything akin to a positronic brain that has been constructed within the computer core. I have a hunch, but I want confirmation.
You did determine last session that the base protocol, the base foundation, was Data.
Okay, so, we already got the answer to that. So this is us getting that information in character.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm glad to see that our hunches are 2 for 2 at the moment. I would say in that case, I think we just need to get a guinea pig, and we need to see how easy it is to separate man from machine.
Captain.
Yes.
Can we try and find whether the doctor is in the program? I believe it was Dr. Crusher. We don't have Dick's original medical records or anything on him. Could he have had some sort of device in him prior to assimilation that allowed him to resist this? It might be worth asking her if there was anything classified in his body prior to assimilation.
Well, the question is, would she know about it?
Every crew member has to have a physical.
True. But if this man was truly intelligence officers always have a way of, floating things past the water, if you get my meaning.
Certainly.
It's a good place to start, though.
Helm, what's our ETA to the system?
At current speed, 2 hours.
Well, we have 2 hours to see what we can learn about Logan from, what was it, Crusher? Yes, Crusher. We can see what Crusher knows about him.
And Captain, I do have some connections in Starfleet intelligence. I can reach out to them and see if they might have anything in reference to a device that may have helped him avoid this.
Go ahead and do so, and if somebody tells you that we need to keep that cube intact, just ignore that part.
Didn't get that message, sir. Understood.
Exactly.
And mechanically, I'd like to use my well-informed talent to add one threat to ask 2 questions.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Well, my first question would be, is Starfleet intelligence knowledgeable about any device that could be used to avoid this type of assimilation or to interrupt it?
No.
Okay, and my second question would be, what would be a good second question?
Could ask what Logan's job in intelligence was. I mean, if he was just a general intelligence officer, then he probably was just a pencil pusher, you know. He probably just received reports and wrote his own. But if he was like a field agent, then that's a different kind of intelligence officer, if you see what I'm saying.
Okay, that'd be the question. What was Logan's position with Starfleet intelligence off the record?
Off the record, and no one will admit to this, and there's a lot of thieves' cant in this reply. Like, this takes you a while to get this information. And by thieves' cant, I mean, like, people are saying things, but you're reading between the lines. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's nothing that anyone could read and it be incriminating by any means. And so after, half an hour or so of talking to various people, pulling in your contacts, like, you're really well informed, right? Like, you got your finger on the pulse and stuff. You come to the conclusion, and you're mostly sure, that Richard Logan was on this ship to encounter this cube. And the crew of the Enterprise was not aware that they were going to encounter.
I'm going to pass that information on to the captain and the rest of the bridge crew.
Hold on. Hamasi pinches the bridge of her nose. You're telling me that Starfleet intelligence willingly sent the entire crew of the Federation, or the Federation's flagship, to be taken over. I don't believe it. You're sure about this? You're absolutely sure.
Never underestimate the sheer gall of Starfleet intelligence.
Well, I can certainly think I'm going to include some colorful language to that effect in my report. Well, that changes things, because if that means the mission out here was deliberate, what's to say that we aren't the next sacrificial lambs?
Because we know what we're walking into, Captain.
True, but we also didn't know about the Locutus protocol. Who's to say there's not some hidden Starfleet intelligence protocol that's meant to, I don't know, lower our shields or disable our weapons or anything like it. In fact, Sir Kenny, go through the computer with a fine-tooth comb. I want to know if there's any other random algorithms running on my computer banks.
I can do that, Captain. Although it may be he's decided just to do this on seeing an opportunity and decided to do it on his own. His hatred for the Federation seemed real, but I will certainly check.
This could have been the reason he hates the Federation so much, is that he was brought out here to, quote, make contact, but was ended up being sacrificed.
I mean, it's entirely possible. Well, we have what, an hour and a half until we arrive, so get that scan done quickly, and I want all sensors looking forward to that system. I want to know if Logan is there already waiting. I want to know what the status of that cube is. I want to know everything possible before we land.
Okay, what am I rolling? Control engineering?
Yeah, control engineering, difficulty 0.
Can I assist him with a control security to check for any booby traps that may have been left behind?
Sure.
I'll also use the. Would preventative maintenance count as a focus, or stubbornness, since he's going through every single little detail to try and find something?
I think stubbornness would. I mean, this is a pretty thorough scan you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
And could I use computers as the focus?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Wow. So we're capped on momentum, everybody. Congratulations.
Yeah, you determine there doesn't seem to be anything else or anything nefarious. Like remember the protocols aren't nefarious. They are on your side. But there
Captain.
doesn't seem to be any booby traps. There doesn't seem to be any hidden. And you're quite sure with 4 successes. You are certain there's nothing hidden in the system.
Then Sir Kelly just reports that, Captain, I've been through everything. I know these systems. There's nothing. There's no trap here.
In that case, can we spend 2 of that momentum to create an advantage, or I guess now create a trait? I want to make sure that Logan has 0 means of access to the ship's computer core, because before he was able to force our engine to just go whoop out of dodge. But now I want to be extra sure via a trait that he can't access the system. He can't just go to a replicator and make something. I want him so locked out of the system that he needs to be an entirely new person in order to, do anything on my ship.
So like improved encryption or something?
Something along those lines, yeah. Like it changed security algorithm, or some kind of super biometric, whichever way you want to phrase the trait.
Reinforced computers, reinforced algorithms.
Improved security. We know one of these.
Yeah, close enough. And then I think that's all we can do before we arrive, unless, I don't know, Arwen, did you have anything?
No, I have nothing else.
All right.
I'm just going to
do.
check, just a housekeeping thing. We did build that torpedo last episode, yes?
Yes, we
Yes.
still
I
have
recall
it.
doing it. Right, okay. That was it.
Already, so your scan that you're looking at this system, obviously, that you're going to. You're not going in blind. So you note that the planet is this barren planet. It's devoid of life. It wasn't exploded. It just happened to be devoid of life. The Borg Cube, as far as you could tell, you're, say, an hour out at this stage. The Borg Cube is dormant. It is powered down. As far as you can tell, there's no activity happening in it. The Risk, the 616 ship, the flagship, Logan's flagship, is in the system. So you can see that with your scan. There's no need to do any rolls for that. But as you're approaching, you get a hail from the 616 ship.
Put it on the main viewer. This will be good.
And the viewer comes to life. And you get to see Mr. Richard Logan in all of his glory. The background of this pirate vessel is the same as you saw before. It's almost Klingon in nature, right? Like he's wearing now, instead of the pirate uniform that he was wearing before, he's wearing a Starfleet uniform. But the ship itself it's darker. It's more metal, right? It's more heavy metal. There's the crew are still wearing their pirate gear, right? Leathers and spikes and all that sort of thing. The typical stuff that you would see on a pirate ship. Though this one is quite a bit more modern than the ones you were dealing with before. But yes, Logan is there. I have a picture of him. The thing that you notice the most about him is that he's wearing an admiral's uniform, of all presumptuous things. And his cybernetics that you saw before, that were these crude, like Borg-like cybernetics, seem to have been upgraded. and you should see a picture.
Oh yeah, would you look at that? Fun.
So he's an older man, silver hair, silver beard. One of his hands seems to be completely robotic. Both of his eyes seem to have some sort of luminescence to it. So far less crude than he appeared not very long ago. Captain.
I, I did want to check. Is this just a general communication, or is it specific to us? Because I know we have the reduced sensor silhouette. So has he already found us besides that, or is this just a general hail, presuming that we're there?
This was just a general hail, not a tight beam, like they'd say in the Expanse.
Okay.
But that is a good thing to point out, that you guys are essentially cloaked, right? Like, it's, unless you know exactly where our ship is, it's very hard to find one that's not broadcasting actively.
Right. So once we land in the system, he'll have no idea where we are, but he will know we're coming. But I think he already knew that. So, but yeah,
Well,
I think Kamasi just sort of stands, does a Picard maneuver, and says, "Mr. Logan, I see that you have a flair for the dramatic as usual."
Oh, this? Oh, well. If one's to be an admiral, one should look the part, don't you think?
Yes, but for all your hatred of Starfleet and all the wishes you have to have Starfleet leave you alone, you are emulating them quite a lot.
Well, Captain, pirates are useful, but they're chaotic. A little order is good for the soul.
So you admit that Starfleet is a good source of order, then?
Parts of it. Certainly.
And your intent has not changed. You wish to create your own little federation out here.
Well, that's what we're here to discuss, Captain. See, you've put me in a bit of a pickle. You're putting my back to the wall, and I don't like it. And you're leaving me with few options. So I thought perhaps the two of us could have a conversation and negotiate a ceasefire, or perhaps a treaty.
Well, Mr. Logan, we've been busy on our end, as I'm sure you're aware to some degree, since we are here and not at the Klingon border. We know what Starfleet intelligence did to you. We know what happened on that cube vessel to some degree. We know what happened to you, motioning vaguely at him in his cybernetics. So my question is this a revenge tour, or is this a cry for help?
It's neither, Captain.
So you're not the least bit angry that Starfleet intelligence sent you out here so that you specifically would encounter this vessel?
No, that's worked out in my favor quite well, actually. The fact that they're willing to sacrifice so many people vexes me a great deal. But if I wanted to harm the Federation, I would just turn this thing on, Captain. And you would all be dead.
So your intent is what? To use it and create more of beings like yourself?
Captain, I've advanced Starfleet technology knowledge by 100 years in the last 3 weeks. This thing knows everything about everything.
Yeah, and all it took was the cost of your humanity.
And several hundred lives. But that wasn't me. I didn't do that.
The ends don't justify the means.
Don't they?
No. If you can save 100 people, but to save 100 people you have to kill 1,000, That's not, no, you cannot justify that sort of attrition.
But if I save billions of lives for the cost of hundreds,
Billions of lives, hundreds of lives, thousands of lives, I don't care how many lives you think you're going to be saving. What I'm concerned about is I have the very real chance of saving the crew which you abandoned because of something we found in the Enterprise's computer banks.
the crew is as safe as they can be on the Enterprise.
So you do know about the Locutus Protocol.
Oh yes, I turned it on.
And why would you do that but not include yourself?
And here's where we begin the social challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, you and Logan are going to argue about some things. And the intent here is he wants a particular thing and you want a particular thing.
Right.
And at each of the breakthroughs is basically it's going to get harder for you, but you're going to get more concessions from him, if that makes any sense.
It does.
So what he wants, just so we're clear how this is all going to work mechanically, what he wants, assuming he wins this social encounter, which is very unlikely with your build, but maybe, what he wants is a region of space around where this cube is to be succeeded to the member planets there, and to the 616. He wants to build his own faction.
Right.
So what is it that you want? What is your main goal in this social conflict?
My goal is to rescue the crew of the Enterprise from the Borg Cube and then destroy the Borg Cube.
Okay. So the way this is going to work is I've kind of set it up as an extended task. For you, you're going to be rolling control command, I would say.
Yeah, presence command, standard bread and butter.
Oh, presence command, yeah, for sure. So there's a progress track. Difficulty is going to be 3. It's got a 2 resistance. And absolutely, yeah. You guys can all do, like, you can, however you want to involve yourselves, you can. But just to finish the mechanic side of things, each round that you roll, Hamasi, you are going to suffer 1 stress because you know what the stakes are.
Okay.
Right. So it's like a environmental damage, which I will pay threat for.
Okay. So what is my starting difficulty before we figure out how the doctor's assisting me?
Your starting difficulty is 3.
Okay. So let me lay out everything Hamasi has. First things first is she has disarming nature. So that automatically reduces the difficulty to a 2. She also has rousing speaker, which reduces it another difficulty to difficulty of 1. And then, because I have augmentability presence, I automatically have 1 success on all presence rolls. So
which increases your complication rate.
Does increase it to 18 to 20, but
if you use it.
I'm already succeeding on this, at least to start. So do we want to run the risk of Arwen rolling a complication, or do we just let Hamasi roll the 2 dice and hope that she doesn't roll a complication?
Well, if I assist you with my knowledge of psychology or emotional states, I can give a beneficial trait called psychological profile to the entire scene to be used through the entire extended task.
Which would make it even less difficulty. Yes, I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay.
So your complication range stays at 20 on the assist, but mine is at an 18.
Right. And what am I rolling?
For you? Oh, what do you think? probably control medicine, insight medicine.
Insight medicine would make the most
Insight
sense.
medicine sounds great.
It sounds,
Yep.
because it's psychological, right?
Hmm.
Well,
And
I'm
I
sitting at
do have a
4
focus on
successes
that.
at the moment. All right, so we're a total of 5 successes. It was a difficulty of 1. So we get 4 momentum, which means we have 2 floating to create another trait on top of the one that the doctor is creating.
All right, so let's make the trait. Okay, so take a stress for just the environmental damage,
Right.
and then I'll make the trait. I came up with this idea of doing it this way, and then I looked at your sheet and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great."
Yes, I have the most brilliant idea, and my players made my difficulty 6 into a difficulty 1, and they have full momentum. Well, I tried.
That's good. No, that's good. Like PC should be able to show off their shit, and Hamasi is super social.
Uh-huh. She may have tried to punch the guy out once, but, when she actually feels like talking, she's a good orator. But she's also
She's
a
got
cat,
claws too.
so,
Yeah.
cat's gonna cat.
That's a good cat. Okay, so you maxed that. You made your trait, or you can make another trait if you wanted to, right? You had 2 floating.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, let me ask
Or you
this.
can have more impact if
That's
you
what I was
prefer.
going to ask is what is my current impact track like? How many things are on the track right now? Because I think in second edition, my impact is my base discipline, which is 5. So what does
Correct.
the current work track look like?
So the progress track, the entire track is 12.
So then if I remember the extended task rules in second edition well, which I might not, if I spend to do 2 more, so I would do 7, there is something special that happens halfway through the track. And it's like Shields, where it happens halfway through the track and 3/4 of the way through the track, if I remember correctly.
Correct. There's 2 breakthroughs. Yeah.
All right, well, then in that case, I think what we're going to do then is we'll spend our 2 floating so that I do 7. That way, when I hopefully succeed on my next roll, I will complete the work track and we'll get the other breakthrough.
Okay. So through your conversation, you and Richard are bickering back and forth. And we'll RP a bit of this out after we do the die roll.
Mm-hmm.
He wants his space, right? And you're arguing basically that you can't have it, right? Like the Starfleet will never allow it. Even if you deal with me, you're gonna have to deal with Starfleet, or whatever your argument is. And you watch through this conversation, like he digs his heels in, and Fahil, you sense this immediately, like watching his body language, you can see it very clearly that he is getting more stubborn, he is getting more frustrated. Hamasi's talking him in circles, basically, like whatever logic Logan comes up with, Hamasi's dissecting it, like easily dissecting it, especially with your help. So you're coming to Fahil, you're coming to the realization 2 things. One, he's getting mad, right? Like he's getting frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, all he really wants is the cube, right? Like you've realized that he is just hauling information out of this cube as best that he can. And everything he's done is just to buy him time, right? Like this whole talk of wanting the space, this whole talk of wanting his own thing. Now he wants the box. That's all he wants.
Do you think does Fahil think it's more for personal glory at this point, or does Fahil think that his motivations, however twisted or altruistic?
The second, Logan believes what he's doing is for the greater good. But that greater good is skewed by his own personality, in that, like, Hitler thought he was doing good things too, right?
Right.
Now it's not that extreme, but like he's doing what he thinks is right, and he wants to steal all this tech, get access to all this knowledge to make
Uh-huh.
the galaxy a better place.
Right. But
Whether he'll use a boot to do it though.
okay, but his hubris is going to be his undoing because he's obviously so focused, so laser focused on that he's ignoring his own health, he's ignoring his own humanity, and he's ignoring the very real risk that this could still bite him in the butt.
It's almost inevitable that it will.
Yeah. So I'm gonna while the captain is chatting to him, I'm gonna tap the console lightly, hit her armrest, just whisper, maybe ease up off the throttle a tiny bit. He's getting really annoyed.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Because technically, so part of disarming nature, I'll put it in chat again. Part of this is that I'm trying to make him more at ease from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, that's why you could even do what you're doing, right? Like you should be. Most captains, even good social captain, would be further back on this track than you are now.
Right.
So you're able to push him this far. Like he's still got to get mad regardless. But instead of him like shooting his disruptor lance at you, he is just chewing, right? Like he's grinding his teeth because you've been so successful, right? Like you're winning this hands down. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But the breakthrough event, the first breakthrough event is that excuse me, an awful tickle. The complication range of further tests goes up by 2.
Okay, so
as he gets more and more
sitting
accurate.
at a 16 to 20.
Now you don't need to use your augmented ability.
Oh, I'm going to. That's the whole reason I have it, is just for
Yeah,
complications. So, All right.
But at this stage, we'll say that he's agreed to give you access to the system, but he doesn't intend to let you keep it. Right. So you've made the halfway point. He'll let you have access to do whatever it is you're going to try to do.
May I interject one other thing?
Sure.
While the captain is engaged in this vocal debate and has his attention, I'm going to quietly walk up the ramp and stand next to Zathan for a second and just type into his console a message that don't forget that he likes to monologue to distract us. Be ready for anything he might come up with.
I would like to say I've been doing continual scans of the area just to make sure he's not distracting us. But I'm not sure there's a scan or a roll related to that.
There's not one that we require, but I assume that you are, as security, on full high alert. Like the ship is at red alert, I would expect, right?
Yeah.
I didn't turn my lights on.
Okay.
I turned my lights on.
Ooh.
There you go.
And Takemi's just bouncing between everybody, just waiting for. Can't think of anything useful yet, but waiting for a point to jump in with anything if we find something.
And for those
Engineering
of you,
deserves a rest.
yeah, after all they did, agreed. For those of you who are listening into the podcast, Tony, our GM, just turned on this very fancy. We have an image of the bridge of the Enterprise with all of our characters on it on our screens, and he just changed the color scheme so it's flashing red. It's flashing intermittently in red, which I think is pretty neat. I just wanted to acknowledge it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
There's a yellow alert.
Is there blue alert?
I digress. Yeah, so this conversation continues with Logan and Hamasi. So, Hamasi, you're still trying to basically get him to fuck off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he is still attempting to insist that that he keeps this space, right? He's dug in there. He's given you access to the cube, but he is insisting that that he owns this space, that you will leave after you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go into the second round. You take your stress.
Yep.
Because you know the stakes are high. And then, yeah, you can make your second roll.
All right. Has the difficulty changed any?
Nope.
So, as one GM to another, I'm going to offer you a deal. So, here's what I propose. I want you to spend 4 or 5 threat to ramp up my difficulty to a 5 after accounting for disarming nature and rousing speaker. So basically what I'm saying is, in order for me to even have a chance at even rolling in the first place is because of disarming nature and rousing speaker. Like, I'm basically saying that Hamasi is sticking to her guns so well and talking so many circles around him that she is, for lack of a better term, she is Picarding her way to success, where she is able to get him to back down and acquiesce to her demands without his "but I want," if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I think because Hamasi is so good at what she does, that, and I have some plans for some threat later, but I think you're so good at this that this should be easy for you.
Right, but I just want to have that cool moment that I give everybody else where it's a difficulty 5 and I got to spend determination, and it's okay. It's okay. I'll roll a difficulty of 1. Let's see.
You've earned all these, like, you bought all these talents. You've earned this scene. This scene is you doing what you're good at.
All right. Well, difficulty 1 success already. Let's just go ahead and hit the button. 5 complication range. There's a complication. I'm going to buy that off with the momentum. So I don't actually get momentum from this. And we just have a base success.
Just the one?
Well, because you're forgetting augmented ability. So augmented ability gets me the success. So we have to spend 1 momentum from the pool to get rid of that complication.
Do you want an assist?
No, not really. Not if it means a potential complication.
All right.
All right. So in situ in the conversation, you again continue to dissect his logic, and he, like, stands up from his chair, and you can, like, Fahil, you see, like, everybody sees this, but Fahil, you know he's at his wits fucking end, right? Like, he is just, he knows he's not going to win this fight. He knows he can't keep what he wants to keep. And Hamasi has managed to convince him of that fact. And he scowls at Hamasi, and he's like, this, if you, and he starts 3 or 4 sentences, and you could just watch the frustration roll over him every time he's trying to articulate something. I cannot understate, Captain, the danger of this cube. If you misstep, if you cross the wrong wire, if you wake this thing up, it will destroy everything.
Well, that's why I have the finest crew in Starfleet ready to destroy the cube if it comes to that point.
If I only had a few more months.
I think Sakani just comes into view at this point and just pokes the robot head in, not actually saying anything, just looking. and seeing if Amasi wants them to pitch in, or they want to say something, but they're waiting for the captain.
Yes, Arcani.
If it would help, I know we want this. I know this cube possesses technology we cannot currently counter. However, you have had success. Perhaps working together will be for the betterment of everybody. We need this cube destroyed, but ultimately we will succeed or have a better chance at defending from the next one, should our knowledge be implemented together. There's always a chance that since you have used so much of this technology, if they do wake up or another one shows up, what is to stop them from co-opting the technology you've just implemented? If we work, while you may not like the Federation, if you work with at least perhaps us, we can make some progress here.
You want me to work with you?
I am not the best, but I am decent.
Give me presence command roll. Difficulty's 3. Psych profile brings that down to a 2.
And I'll use a determination. I'm not the best, but I'll try.
That tracks. Yep.
And I'll take a momentum for... Oh, no, I can't. Can't take a momentum for that.
Wow, double ones.
That's twice.
I haven't seen the roll yet. I do hope my my new internet will fix this.
Yeah, I've got 4 successes.
4 successes. Look at that. Double ones. Outstanding. Well, fuck. I mean, that's difficulty was 3, went down to 2. That's 2 momentum. And
I think that leaves us with 2 floating, doesn't it?
No, 1 floating because we were at 5.
Ah. What can we spend the 1 on?
Well, I mean, once he gives us his answer, we can spend the 1 momentum and 1 floating to make another trade.
Or you can ask questions too, right?
Also valid, yeah.
There's always obtained information. All right. What do you need help with?
Rescuing the original crew and accessing as much data as we can about the Borg, how they were able to co-opt the Enterprise. As much as we can, we need to understand how we can best defend from them. If this ship disappears, I believe, Captain, I'll be, with your permission, of course.
And I think Hamasi just sort of raises an eyebrow. Where are you going with this, Sarkani?
This ship is more powerful than anything we have come across. In order to preserve as many lives as possible, we need to have some level of understanding of it. I believe if myself and our friend here go to the cube before we destroy it, we may be able to at least get some either tactical information, logistical information, anything before we get rid of this. The technology that we're facing here, they overwhelmed the Enterprise the first time. If they can do this to the flagship, what can they do to any colony they come across? We need to have some understanding, or when they show up for real, or rather when they investigate why this ship is missing, they will find us.
Well, I think that depends on Mr. Logan at this point.
I don't know how they communicate with each other. I don't know if this is the only ship of theirs or if there's millions of them.
Precisely.
What I do know is that this ship is the crew, or the drones is a better term. It seems to be some sort of hive mind, collective consciousness. Data was able to determine a way to put them to sleep, utilizing a virus. Over the last while, I've been extracting information as best I can. This species, if you could call it a species, apparently picks up uh, whatever other species it encounters and amalgamates it into itself, keeping the things that are good, discarding things that are weak, continually improving itself. If this ship was operational and it headed for Earth, Starfleet collectively couldn't stop it.
And therefore, it is vital that we at least, if we can't find a weakness, that we gain some more detailed understanding of this technology. If they're asleep now, there is a chance they will wake. And even if they don't wake, if they are a hive mind and there are others, surely if a part of oneself goes quiet, so another part will come to look. If there is another part, with a species this advanced, there must be more of them. We have to get any edge possible, or we're all doomed.
Now, what the hell do you think I've been doing?
But what I'm saying is, I think you're on a clock and don't realize it. From what we've been able to gather from our scans, Data may have put them to sleep, but they may wake up, or rather, they are. I don't know, just checking. Last week last episode we thought they would eventually wake up, right? Or anything could wake them up.
Yeah, your thinking is that as long as you're careful and quiet, they will stay asleep.
Right.
So no big explosions, no, don't shoot it, don't like complications while you're accessing their systems are probably going to be potentially dangerous, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Well,
If you're careful, you're okay.
So Kemi will just say, it's with how close we are to the Klingon border, with how I know many of the pirates in this area are under your control, but all it would take is for one of them to be careless or a cloaked ship to come in here. We have to destroy this ship before somebody else finds it, and we have to do it quickly. We need to extract what we can and run.
Fine.
Do you have a
I will.
location that we could beam to?
I can give you coordinates, and I can give you some information that I've acquired. I will not, however, be joining you on this particular away mission.
And what is it
You make
will
some
be doing,
good
Mr.
arguments,
Logan?
Captain. But I have no intention of being arrested by Starfleet today.
So your plan is to, flee into deep space?
My plan is not to stay here while the Enterprise is coming.
Mr. Logan, I'm sorry to interrupt everyone. I have a question. If I understand correctly, you were the one who turned on the Locutus protocols?
I was part of the process, yes.
With the hope and the thought that someday those personalities and consciousness might be reintegrated with the crew who are assimilated. Is that correct?
That is what the senior staff came up with, yes, to digitize their minds and integrate it into the Enterprise using Data's protocols as a base.
Based on what you've learned about the Borg, how likely do you think that is?
To reintegrate them?
Hmm.
I don't think it's possible myself, but
And how did you avoid a simulation yourself?
oh, well, I was the last guy, and I opted out.
Opted out. Can you explain what that means?
Oh, assimilation from the Borg.
Did they voluntarily assimilate?
The crew of the Enterprise. Yes.
They voluntarily put themselves up for assimilation. Can you walk me through the scenario that led to that?
Well, the short version is the Enterprise found the cube, the Borg took Picard, Riker attempted to retrieve him. They determined pretty quickly that they were outclassed. But Data was able to come up with an idea. He believed that the Borg would lose interest if there wasn't anything on the ship to assimilate. It took some work, but we uploaded the consciousness of most of the crew, a digitized consciousness, into the Enterprise. We infected the Borg with the virus, and I hid.
How do you think they didn't find you if they found everyone else?
I think after they had everyone else, and this is my best guess, they just didn't give a shit. And then the virus hit, and they all kind of went to sleep.
I see.
I used the Enterprise to commandeer a Orion vessel and parked it where you could find it.
What was it like for you to see your crew assimilated?
They're still alive in a way. And the Borg has less of them.
Did you enjoy serving with the last crew of the Enterprise?
The last crew of the Enterprise was sent on an impossible mission, Doctor. Starfleet intelligence didn't know what this thing was outside of scattered reports. But my intelligence, the intelligence provided to me, suggested that the Enterprise was unlikely to succeed at first contact. But if anyone would,
you had advanced knowledge of that, and you were put in an untenable situation. I'm actually sorry that happened to you.
thanks.
No, I mean, not just thanks. You went through something horrible. You had to see so many people uh, stripped of their stripped of their individuality, and you had advanced knowledge of that, and you were under orders to not reveal that, I assume.
We didn't know what would happen. Exactly.
I see. I see. So you made a judgment call to stay silent.
Captain Picard is a remarkable man and has a career of doing remarkable things. If anyone was going to be able to succeed at first contact with this unknown species, these Borg, it would have been him. He failed. I did what I could. We all did. But what's going to happen now is that you and your crew and your captain are going to fly into this system, and you're going to start tinkering around with something that you should not be touching. and you're going to wake them up because you're fucking idiots.
Do you really think we're fucking idiots? In your heart of hearts, you were forced to make a judgment call all by yourself, and you were alone. You're not alone now. You could do right by your previous crew and increase our chance of success by helping us, by being there, being present and helping and correcting what happened. It might even weigh in your favor in any kind of legal process if you were able to help us.
Legal process. I have no intention of facing one of your firing squads. Good counseling.
I do. Sorry, Counselor. I do believe that we don't have to take him in this time, Captain. I believe that the apprehension of a criminal, as opposed to the gathering of this technology, is less important. Perhaps if you would help us, we will see about potentially capturing you next time. So you may not go to trial for this we may leave you alone potentially. Captain, what do you say about that? I think the stakes are higher than one criminal.
And I think Kamasi has just been sort of letting Sarkini and Fahil just talk because she's been mulling things over. And I think she's finally just sort of straightens her shirt and goes, well, I believe I'm going to make everybody happy in this situation. I will make the hard judgment call, and if Starfleet wants to court-martial me over it, they will. We're destroying that cube. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're doing it now. Logan, get the hell out of the system. If I see you again, I'm taking you in.
Roger that, Captain.
And Logan...
And if you come after me...
Yes, I know, you'll throw me at the Klingons. But let me make one thing clear. If I find out that you're using that technology to torment another species, not only will I come after you, but I will personally see to it that you suffer for it. I just want to be extra sure of that fact.
And he kind of smiles a little bit. And Fahil, you sense a change in him. Like the anger kind of leaves. Like the decision's been made, right? So like there's a lot of anxiety until you decide to do a thing. But once something's been decided, then a lot of anxiety goes away. And he gets less angry, and he almost imperceptibly kind of straightens his shoulders. Like this declaration of war almost from the captain to him is he takes some bit of joy out of that. Out of, oh, hey, now we get to play, right? Not in we're going to fight right now, but as I'm really looking forward to this kind of deal, right? But he will provide information that he has. If your intent is to try to go on the cube at all, he will give you a place that's safe to beam into, a way to interface. It will be very, very difficult, but a way to. Or if you intend to tow this thing into the sun, you could attempt that as well.
Yeah, I think we're just going to detonate the trilithium, if I'm being honest. We're just going to fly in system, we're going to deliver the torpedo, and then we're going to leave as the supernova blows up everything in the system.
Alrighty. Zatan, from your tactical console, you recognize clearly that the Orion vessel, Richard Logan's vessel, cloaks technology he should not have, and presumably leaves. And then, Captain, you have. Is that the order? Is there any decisions or discussion that people want to make?
I think the only thing the captain's going to say once the call with Logan's done, it says, look, everybody, I know we want to save the Enterprise crew, but I do have to admit that Logan did have some good points to his mantra I feel like that the danger of poking this bear and the bear waking up is far too great for us to even attempt to save the physical bodies of the Enterprise crew. We have their digitized consciousness. They continue to exist in some form. And I would rather secure the safety of the Federation than risk the entire Federation over the lives of 1,000. Now, if you disagree with me, you may put it in your reports to Starfleet, but we are deploying the trilithium weapon as soon as we arrive in system.
It's your call, Captain.
And yeah, I mean, unless you want to break the torpedo launcher or have the Borg Cube wake up and kill us all, I think we just do that. We fly into the system, we fire the torpedoes at the sun, and then we leave as the supernova blows up behind us, and we don't look back because cool Starfleet doesn't look at explosions.
Yeah. I think what we could also possibly do is have the executive officer do a general hail of all the crew of the ship and have everyone stand at attention out of respect for the Enterprise crew that we're about to blow up.
Oh yeah, the whole bosun whistle and all that. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So with the stakes being known, the threat of the Borg, the understanding that Logan did as best he could to preserve life of the original crew of the Enterprise, which is not perfect, but it's something. And who knows what technology in the future will bring. Under orders of Hamasi, the Enterprise enters the system and detonates the star. The Borg are immune to an awful lot of things, and they can evolve very quickly. But in this case, they are asleep, and there is no time for them to evolve fast enough. And the Borg Cube is engulfed and destroyed, along with the system.
And I think that's where we end it. Yeah, I think that's where we end it.
And that brings us to the conclusion of the Next Generation reimagined, as the Borg threat has been eliminated. The pirate is still at large with his advanced technology. And the Enterprise D has its ghost ship trait.
Neat.
Thank you so much, Tony, for running Raven's Lore.
You.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yep, it's fantastic. It's very happy.
Glad you guys enjoyed it. Neil H., take us out.
All right, well, Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody, but YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye-bye, YouTube.